G'day, my name's Nathan Lindsell and welcome to episode number 37 of The Fine Art of Distraction. So, today's episode's a super fun episode. The reason why? Well, if you missed last week's episode, or if you did see last week's episode, you'll actually know that at the start of that episode, I said this week I'll be launching and premiering the other toy. And if you did miss last week's episode, well, I was actually in a collaboration with two of my mates, Larry from Crunchberry's Playhouse and Bryan from Spontaneous Creations by Bryan, to basically help launch a brand new toy called the Turbo Tubes Triple Kiss Cup. And if you did miss that episode, well, basically I'll give you a bit of a rundown of where the idea came from. Basically, it all dates back to my very first episode of The Fine Art of Distraction, where I basically used this little contraption here to pour out of. Basically, I got 3 bottles, I hot glued them together, secured it with a bit of electrician's tape, and then basically filled each bottle, tipped it upside down, and then poured from it. And I basically called it a Triple Kiss Cup. But then I was thinking, that's not a cup. It's actually 3 bottles, so I can't really call it a Triple Kiss Cup. And then I started thinking, how cool would it be if there was a Triple Kiss Cup? And then, so I actually started designing what I thought could be and could work as a Triple Kiss Cup. And I drew them up on my iPad, and then I didn't think anything of it because, like, I didn't know anyone that had a 3D printer. So I was like, well, what's the use of designing it? I can't print it. And then a few months passed, and I noticed that Larry from Crunchberry's Playhouse was actually using this little bad boy here. He actually printed, using a 3D printer, a twin kiss cup. And I was like, holy guacamole, Batman, this is my answer. Because I didn't know anyone that had a 3D printer. And then when I saw that Larry had a 3D printer, I was like, yes. Oh. So basically, I sent Larry an email with the idea that I had. And I said, oh, is this able to be done? And I actually even sent him a few pictures, and here they are here. And basically, the idea that I had was, like, the cup had like a bit of a pyramid sort of contraption on the center. So the paint sort of split into 3 ways and then into little holes down the bottom, just like here. Insert picture. And basically, you would layer a cup and pour it into it, and it'd split and then come out as one. But then when I sent those ideas to Larry, he sort of said, oh, let me sort of work out a couple of renderings and I'll get back to you. And I'm like, yeah, sweet, no worries. Well, a couple of weeks passed, well, it was about three or 4 weeks passed, and he came back with what I feel like basically he took my idea and just filled it full of steroids and made it so awesome. Like, he took my idea from here and brought it up to here. So Larry, thank you so much for bringing my idea from here to reality. I'm forever grateful, mate. You're a bloody legend. And yeah, so last week we launched the Turbo Tubes Triple Kiss Cup, and today I'll be launching the Pegasus Triple Kiss Cup. So you will see that there's actually a few differences between the two. So basically, the Turbo Tubes Triple Kiss Cup is about half the size of the Pegasus Triple Kiss Cup. And another difference is, so the turbo tubes comes with two sizes, which is basically the small and the large. But basically, the Pegasus also comes with two sizes, but the turbo tube's large size is actually the Pegasus small size. And then you've got this big bad boy here, as the big size. That's more like it. So yeah, so there's another difference. But the main difference is on the bottom, basically the turbo tubes, you'll notice that the exit point is actually much closer together than the exit point on the Pegasus Cup. Because I said to Larry, I said, oh, can you make it more so the opening is a little bit wider, so it's more resembling the bottles. So yeah, so he came back with that idea. And yeah, I like again, I'm forever grateful, Larry, because you took my idea from here and made it so I could hold it. But when I actually pulled this out of the box and I saw that he actually done a cutting of a Pegasus emblem, I bawled like a little school kid. Because basically, Pegasus is actually quite a special animal for me and my whole family. Because when my brother, when we lost Jeff, we all struggled quite a lot. And I said to Mum, I said, go outside and point to a star. And anytime that you want to speak to Jeff, just look at that star, and that's Jeff. And what I did after that was basically I got a star app, like a star constellation app, where basically if you choose a star in the sky, you can actually marry it up, and it'll tell you what star it is. And if you type it in, it'll actually, no matter what time of the day, it'll actually show you where in the sky that star is. And it turns out the star that Mum picked is actually the nose of Pegasus. So our whole family, we've got Pegasus things everywhere, all around the house. So when I pulled this out of the box and saw that there was actually a Pegasus cut out on the cup, I literally bawled my eyes out. I actually held it up to a photo of my brother. So I've got a big photo frame of Jeff in my lounge room. And I held it up to the photo and I said, Jeff, look what my mate Larry did. He printed a Pegasus Cup. So yeah, I was bawling my eyes out so much. So Larry, again, I'm forever grateful for what you've done, bringing my idea from up here so where I can actually hold it. So thank you so much. But another thank you that I got to shout out to is actually Bryan from Spontaneous Creations by Bryan, because he's actually putting the Pegasus Cup and also the Turbo Tubes Triple Kiss Cup in his Etsy store as a product that you can actually buy. So, Bryan, you're a bloody legend. And Larry, you're an even bigger legend. Alright guys, now that I've told you what I'm going to be doing today, basically I'm going to be pouring out of this. Let's head out of the table. I'll show you what products I'm going to be using, and then yeah, let's get kissing. Thanks guys. Alrighty then, so here's all the products I'm going to be using today, and as you can see, I'm just using global paints. Now I've actually set it out in 3 different sections, and there's a reason for that, but I'll get to that in a second. So up the top here, we've got all fluoro colours, which I've got fluoro green, fluoro orange, and fluoro pink. Down the bottom here, we've got all cool colours, which is cool yellow, cool red, and cool blue. And then over this side, we've got all metallics, which is metallic silver, metallic gold, and metallic copper. Now, the reason why I've set it out in 3 different sections is because, well, the chamber itself has 3 different sections. So I thought, because I'm using a cup that has 3 different sections, but then comes out in one spot, why not actually use one brand of paint that has 3 different categories? Fluoro, cool, and metallic. Now, what I'm actually going to do is, in each chamber, I'm going to layer all the categories twice. And what I mean by that is, so for example, with the fluoros, I'll go fluoro green, fluoro orange, fluoro pink, fluoro green, fluoro orange, fluoro pink. Okay? Then obviously with all the cools, and the same with all the metallics. The pouring medium that I'm going to be using today is actually the Elmers School Glue recipe, which has actually been made famous by my good friend YIIEEEEEEEW from Acrylic Painting with Julie E. Basically, she came up with a pouring medium which is basically 70% Elmers School Glue to 30% water. Nice and easy, isn't it? You! But yeah, so Julie sort of made this sort of pouring medium quite popular and quite famous with a lot of amazing paintings that she's done. So if you're not familiar with YIIEEEEEEEW, do yourself a favor, check out Acrylic Paintings with Julie E. You won't be disappointed. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. I'll link her channel in the description box below to make it easier for you to actually find her page, because everything that Julie does is absolutely top notch. You won't be disappointed with what you see. And Julie, thanks for coming up with this amazing pouring medium, because it works amazing. You! Okay, so you'll notice here that I've got my trusty blowtorch to get rid of any air bubbles. And then I've also got the skewer here just in case I have any stubborn air bubbles. I've also got my palette knife over there in case I want to do any sort of manipulations of sort of any of the lines or anything like that. Lots of people call it wrecking. I like to call it manipulating because I don't like the term wrecking, because like you're actually making the painting look better. You're not wrecking it. So yeah, I like to either call it enhancing or manipulating. I try not to use the word wrecking. Alright guys, now that I've showed you what products I'm going to be using, obviously we're using the Pegasus Cup. Yeah! Thanks Larry for this. You! And we're using the large size of the 2 chambers. And if you want to get your hands on one of these, jump onto my mate's Etsy store, which is Spontaneous Creations by Bryan. I'll link his Etsy store in the description box below. And yeah, click on that, do yourself a favor, grab yourself one of these amazing Pegasus Triple Kiss Cups. You! Alright guys, now that I've showed you what I'm going to be using, I'll clear off all of this. Well, actually, I'm in a different section, as you can see. I've set it all out nice and professional looking now, with all the backdrop and all that sort of stuff. How do you like that? You! So, we'll actually head over to the table where I can actually pour on. So, alright, I'll clear off all this, I'll make some room, and yeah, let's get going. Thanks, guys. Alrighty then, so we've got the actual canvas turned over on the other side, and you'll notice I've actually already got the push pins in, and I'm not going to worry about actually putting tape around the outsides, just because this painting's going to be for me, because this is going to be the first one that I'm using the Pegasus Triple Kiss Cup on. So yeah, I don't want to let this one go. So yeah, it's just going to be for me. So, but if it was for someone else, I would probably put tape around it just so it looks a bit more professional when I hand it over and it's all nice and clean. But anyway, so what I'm actually going to be sort of doing, I've already wet the back and allowed it to dry in the sun for about half an hour. So it's actually nice and tight, the actual canvas itself. But I actually just want to support the canvas a little bit more. So because this is actually a 36 by 36 inch canvas, when I pour in the middle, all that weight of the paint is going to sort of make it seep in a little bit. So we need to somehow support this a little bit. So what I'm actually thinking is I've got some practice canvases that I'm just going to sort of put in each of these corners and then tape it to the actual crossbeam itself. Because if I stick something underneath it, sometimes what happens is it'll actually push through onto the canvas and then it'll actually dome out the top. So I don't want that to happen. So what I'm actually thinking, I've just got these practice canvases. It's a twin pack. And I'm basically just going to put it there like that. And then actually tape it to the actual crossbeam. So then therefore it's actually not going to push through onto the canvas and then it's not going to dome out. Alrighty. Now that what I actually just sprayed just then was actually isopropyl alcohol. And I'm doing that because I've been actually putting my fingers all over this quite a bit. So I thought if I spray a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, that'll get rid of any of the oil that's on my fingers. Well, any oil that has been transferred from my fingers to the canvas. Alrighty, so just to repeat, this is actually a 36 by 36 inch canvas. And we're using the large chamber of the Pegasus Triple Kiss Cup. Alrighty then, so I've got all our paints mixed up and ready to rock and roll, and already my hands are starting to get a bit, you know what? And what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to layer the cup and then I'm going to put the base coat down. And the base coat that I've actually got is a combination of metallic grey and cool blue. And look at that! How nice is that? So what I'm actually going to do, because I don't have a great deal of a big amount of it, I'm going to actually paint the edges first, and then I'm going to pour the rest of it over it and then spread it out with the spatula. Alrighty. So we're opened at the moment, and now we're just going to lock it off so the holes are actually closed, and now we can actually start pouring in. Okay, so before I put some music on, I thought I'd just do a quick little voiceover just to give you a rundown of what's going on. Because when I was actually pouring these paints into the chambers, I realised that all of the paints were way, way, way too thin. And when I was doing the consistency test by doing a drip test on all of the paints to see if they were all the same consistency, I realized that the metallic paints, all three of them, were really, really, really thin. So basically, I actually thinned down all of the fluoro and all of the cool colors to be the same consistency as the metallics. What I actually should have done was the reverse. I actually should have put untinted house paint into the metallics to thicken it up. You will see what I mean in a second, what happened. But yeah, I thought I'd just give you a bit of a rundown of what's going on and what I should have done and what I will do next time. Okay, I'll put some music on and enjoy. We've got a little bit of a leak, but I do actually think that's because the paints are actually really, really thin. When I was doing the consistency drip test, I had to keep adding the 10% Floetrol to 90% water combination to all the colors, because three of the three metallics were actually quite thin. So I had to keep adding more fluid to the others to try to make them the same consistency. So I was thinking that it might have been a little bit too thin, and there it was. So let's see how this bad boy goes. I have a feeling I may have mixed them too thin. But that was because I was trying to get them to be the same consistency. I'll pop up the drip test that I did right now, and you'll see that the metallic ones were always so much thinner. I actually didn't add any extra fluid to those. I actually added the fluid to the fluoros and the cool colors, and they still never matched how thin of consistency the metallics were. So yeah, I have a feeling it might be a little bit too thin, but hey, I actually really like how this has actually turned out, because you can definitely see the three kisses. There's one kiss, there's the other kiss, and there's the other kiss. So I'm very, very, very happy with how it actually poured out. I just think I might have made my consistencies too thin. Alrighty, so now it's time to start tilting out. I've basically left it about 5 minutes, and while I was waiting that 5 minutes, I went downstairs and gave the Pegasus Triple Kiss Cup a good clean, so therefore the paint doesn't stain the actual plastic itself. Alrighty, so let's start tilting, I guess. Yoo! Because it's really thin paint, I actually want to tilt it very, very slowly. a satellite picture of like a storm like coming through. Like there's a hurricane there, and there's like a big hailstorm there, and this is wicked cool! Yee-hoo! And the 3 distinct kisses are there. There's 1, 2, and 3. Yee-hoo! This is sick! I must say, I really do think that I mixed the paints too thin, like way too thin. But apart from that, I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. That bit there, I'm not overly happy with, just because it's sort of, the base coat is sort of coming through. But everything else is wicked cool! Yee-hoo! And look at these hands! Yee-hoo! This up here looks like an opal. All of that looks like an opal. That looks sick! I am just noticing there's a hair just here. What a bugger. Wow, this looks sick! I'm super stoked with how this turned out. Yee-hoo! Doing the happy dance. I'm doing the happy dance. Happy, 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 happy. Y'all ready for this? Yee-hoo! Alrighty guys, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all so much for joining me on this episode where I got to unveil the Pegasus Triple Kiss Cup. A massive, massive, massive thank you to Larry from Crunchberry's Playhouse for bringing my idea from my head to reality, and I got to use it. So, yee-hoo! Thank you, Larry. Yoo! Also, another special thank you to Bryan from Spontaneous Creations by Bryan, because if you want one of these Triple Kiss Cups, jump onto his Etsy store and click buy now, because they're available in his Etsy store. So thank you, Bryan. Yee-hoo! Alrighty guys, I just want to say, if you guys like what you saw here, please give us a thumbs up. And if you also like what you saw here and you're not yet subscribed and you feel like subscribing, hit the subscribe button, then hit the little dark bell. That'll indicate when I actually upload new videos, and you get to see new videos every week. Yoo! And also, if you think any of your friends or family might like to see me create this, please share it onto them. I'd love for them to have a look at it as well. Alright guys, one more time, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I had so much fun. Yee-hoo! Alright guys, thank you once again for joining me on this episode, and this is the fine art of distraction.